going to try something here. Like these scalloped potatoes, I got this recipe off the internet. So don't be afraid to do that. This one I took from Live at 5, the cook class. So it's a bacon mushroom strudel. This is puff pastry. You can get it at Sobeys, No Frills, any place like that. You get 2 rolls to a package. Take it home, put it in your freezer, and when you're ready to try, go ahead, take it out. I took mine out the night before and left it in the fridge, and I've just now taken it out of the fridge. And what we're going to do here is we're going to take it out. Now I'll show you. I have a cookie sheet here with some parchment paper on it. And we're going to take this puff pastry, because what we're going to make, this strudel is like a bread. It's relatively easy. We're going to roll this out like this. All the way up there. There we go. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take our knife and we're going to cut like here, this corner. And this corner away. Now, you can put those at the edge of the cake pan too. Now what we're going to do is we're going to follow the imaginary line from here and here down to here. So we're going to, that line is going to come down like this. Just very lightly, don't, so you follow it. Then we're going to cut, where this line comes down here, you're going to cut right from that line here, this little corner off. And the same on this side. So there. Now basically that's, we've got this. Now, starting here, go into where that line is again, and you're going to cut there, and then every inch or so down. And if it's not an exact inch, well, I'm pretty sure nobody's going to sue us for it. So we're going to go again. And it helps. I have it on a plastic cutting board, if you have wood, whatever. Just something that you can turn. It just makes it easier to work with. Okay, now. Thinking, yes, we're going to do one here, one more cut here, and here, there. Because when we get our filling made, you'll see why that's rather important. So we're going to take this, and the easiest way to do this is just take it like that, and that there. And you can only do that with one. The other one we're going to have to let's sit on the table, because until we get this one braided, we will not have enough room for it on our cookie sheet. So that is one, and then we will do the second one like that and leave it on our board here, because what we have to do is make the filling. Now what I have here is a mix of pre-sliced mushrooms picked up at Sobeys. There are some shiitake, the mini bella white mushrooms. You also get the portobello cremini. Also, the last time I did this dish, I also added some oyster mushrooms or enoki, whatever flavors you want. Feel free to either substitute or add 2. Although if you are adding 2, you might want to pick up more puff pastry, because the puff pastry is only so big, and the more filling there is, the less room you have to put it in. So we have these mushrooms. This is Boursin cheese. Now you just pick up a little thing like this. It's this one happens to be herbs and garlic. You can get it with cranberry and garlic, just whatever tickles your fancy to do this. And also, I'll mention now because I might forget later, you can do this without, instead of mushrooms, if you wanted to use fresh or frozen fruit and make it a fruit strudel, no problem. And here we have, again, prep is, if you do your prep ahead of time, it's so much easier. Earlier today, I had fried up about, gosh, I'd say 8 slices or so of bacon. Little on the crisp side, I like it a little. And then I just cut it into pieces, like so, on the cutting board, and put them in this container. So there's about a half a cup of chopped up bacon there. And we have some butter here. We're going to put in a large pan here, and you need a large pan, trust me, you're going to want a large pan. And something that's like a side like this, or a little deeper, it isn't too bad, because you can have a lot of stuff to put in there. So we're going to take some butter and put our, I'm going to put our burner on, I'd say about 4 or 5, around a medium heat. We're going to let that get a little heated up. And it says 2 tablespoons. That's about a tablespoon, or not quite a tablespoon there. So we're going to just take a little bit more off of here. Some things there's, so that's, I'd say altogether that's probably about 2 tablespoons. And once our pan is heated up there, oh, we're going to add that in. Oh, and it also calls for, pardon my forgetfulness, it also calls for a large red onion. Now, I'm not partial to onion at the best of times, but that's just me. Don't let that stop you. I, though, prefer when I'm cooking, instead of onion, to have something a little bit more subdued. So what we have here are some shallots. So what we're going to do, we're going to take 4, which are like small onions, but these are, they have a purplish color to them, so they'll give a little bit of color to the dish, which never hurt anybody. And we're going to cut the tops off. Do not cut the bottoms off, because if you cut the bottoms off right away before you skin them and dice them, you're going to have the devil's own time trying to do exactly that. I just have a little damp paper towel here to get rid of that dry onion skin off of my cutting board before I start slicing away. Just toss that in the now, what I find is I cut them in half and face down, and then just go to, if you, I'm going to tell you, this skin does not really come off as easily as you would like it to. So, failing that, just go to the first layer, thankfully. Shallots, like onions, have many layers to them. So you peel off that first layer. You're not going to miss anything. And the other half. So, there we go. And there you have one whole shallot. skinned and ready for dicing. So what we're going to do is hold them at the end you did not cut off, and we just cut through, bind your fingers, there, and just, you don't have to move the knife, move the shallot through the knife, and remember to move your fingers back, and there you go, and now the other half. Okay, our pan is right. Just toss our butter in. There. And take it off a bit and just let it go so your butter does not burn. Turn that heat down just a little because we don't want to burn our butter. And now we will put our shallots in. Okay, now we have all of our shallots diced up here. Now this little rig here, you can pick it up at the dollar store, for crying out loud. It just makes it a lot easier to try to pick these things up and dump them in the pan instead of your knife. Even the largest, widest blade you have, this is so much easier. And like I say, it's not going to bankrupt you. It's just pick it up at the dollar store. It does have an edge on it, so you have to watch it, but I don't think it was seriously meant to cut anything. It was just meant to be able to scoop things up. Now, what we have here is we have our onions in there, and we're just going to let them saute a bit to caramelize. And then we will throw in our mushrooms. And also, oh yes, now you can buy fresh rosemary in a little container at just about any store in the produce department. Or you can, I have a little, I picked these up at Sobeys. It's just a little fresh herbs. And you just take one and two. We'll put those over there. And let's see. Maybe one more. We'll put those over there. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut those up with a nice sharp knife. And they also will go in with our. And when you're doing this, and even when if you buy it fresh in a container as opposed to the plant, take the woody stemmy part. You don't want that. You just want the leaves. Take them off. And we're going to dice them up as small as we can. So you will want a sharp knife. And we'll these all together as close as we can. Again, watch your fingers. I'm talking to a master accident looking for a place to happen here. And very carefully and the beauty of this is when you get that first cut done, just go back and forth across to dice it as much as you can. And there you go. No problems. Just a little bit off the knife. This you can probably pick up with the knife and transfer to our pan. And there we go. And believe me when I say I watched a lot of cooking shows. I love to cook. I'm not a particularly big eater of stuff, but I do love to cook. And I watch Stefano and I watch Best Recipes and I watch all those guys. And I now understand perfectly that no, they do not get it done in a half an hour. There is a lot of prep, not a lot of prep to it, but it's better if you prep ahead of time. Like I said, I did my bacon earlier today. Now, I'm going to let that saute until the onion starts to go a little translucent and caramelized. See, it's almost there now. We'll turn our heat down just a tad. And then what we're going to do is throw in our mushrooms. And when we do that, we may turn the heat up a little bit, just a tad, back to where it was. Because, of course, throwing in the mushrooms will take you away from the pan. And then we will put that over there. And we'll mix it all together until the mushrooms are done. So we'll just, okay, I think we'll throw them in now. And yeah, that's just about right. You don't want it to burn, you just want it to kind of get there. There, now we'll take this. And like I say, there, see those are your white mushrooms and your portobello and your shiitake. Just kind of throw them all in there. Oh. And if you like, you can, if you think they're a little big for you or whatever, you can take them and like grab a paring knife or a utility knife and just cut the larger ones. There you go. Also makes it easier to try to get into the strudel. Let's do that. Trying to do this. Ow! Not burn my hand. Should have done it before I put them in there, but hopefully you will learn from my mistakes. There, that'll do for now. Okay. So we're just going to stir those around for a few minutes until everybody gets to know everybody and our mushrooms are cooked. And we will just add a little bit of butter. I obviously was not right up to date on my math when I measured that butter, so we'll grab another little specklet and throw that in. There. As I said, we're just going to make sure everybody gets a little bit. There. And just leave that for a couple of minutes and then we'll be ready to rock and roll. Now, what we're going to do, so we have our two pastries out here. We're going to take our bacon. We've turned off the heat under our mushrooms. We're going to add that bacon in and give that a little stir. Just to kind of, we want these guys to all, don't want everybody lumped up into one place. And spread it around a little bit. There. now we are going to, okay, we're going to take our warmer and take our pan completely off there. And then we're going to take our horse and cheese here. Unwrap this. There. And there. Okay. There. Mom used to say, waste not, want not. No. Mix this up with our mushrooms and our bacon, our onion. It's just gonna, the heat of the pan alone will make that cheese melt down and get around to all over everything, which is where we want it. Stir it, and we're going to add just a touch to your own taste. A little bit of salt and pepper, and actually, I don't. I figure between the cheese and the bacon, it's probably got enough salt in it, and also, it's, if they want, they can kind of do that at their table. So we have that there. We want to let that cool. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a small bowl here, just because if I leave it in here, it's going to take it even longer to cool. So we're just going to, you don't have to, I mean, quite literally, you're probably just making another dirty dish, but I just, for sake of expediency here today, this is what we're going to do. There we go. There, we'll just leave that there until we let it cool. And then what we're going to do with this mixture, we're just going to we're going to put it down the center of the pastries we have here. And get that done. While we're waiting for that to cool, what we're going to do is take a little, container. Here we go. This will be enough, and I have a silicone brush. What we're going to do is we're going to put some butter in this, and we're going to melt it down in the microwave, just 8 seconds or so, just melt it down. And we're going to use that when we get these done to brush over the top. And if you have some fresh parsley, just chop a little and sprinkle it over after you've put the butter on the top. If not, that's fine too. You just put the butter on the top, but we'll get to that. Right now we're just going to put some butter in here and melt it down, and we'll get back in a sec. Okay, here we go. Now we've kind of tried to divide this equally into half. So we're going to take half and put it here. There we go. There. Just going to give ourselves a little. We would not want to waste any of this goodness, so we'll just scrape that off into there. There we go. I'm going to try to keep this kind of sort of in the middle from one end to the other. Now, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take this here, and we're going to pull it into here and there. And this end down here the same. Bring it up, just tuck it in like that. Now, then we're going to take this first cut here, and we're going to put that in there, and this one in here, okay, and then we're going to that one in there, that one in there, this one in there. Now, you may find, as I have, depending on how far you cut, you may have wanted to cut in a little more than, so you can see here I have scissors, so we're just going to, what we're going to do here, nothing that cannot be fixed, trust me, especially if you're determined, or as my father used to say, pig-headed. Either way, it works out the same way. Just cut these a little further in. There. Take that over there. This over there. 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 That's one. We'll take a little bit of butter here.